torque is addicting. Believe it or not, I have never driven a BMW M4. This car is hotly contested in the M community because it has turbos. It's no longer naturally aspirated, but what that does mean is they're tunable. The 335 guys in the community back in the day with the E92s were always competing with the M cars. They said they can be faster. But now the M cars have turbos and the M cars can be tuned. Today we're driving Ralphie Superman's car. His Instagram is below. This dude has a sick build. A lot of people get their M3s and M4s because they want to make a subtle appearance. This car is Yasmarina blue with red wheels. It's not subtle. So for those of you who don't know, this car is tuned. It's putting out
543 horsepower to the wheel and 612 torque to the wheel.
All right, so over 600 pound-feet of torque, over 500 horsepower. She's not stock, she's not slow. Right off the bat, this car is intimidating. The second you touch the throttle, it's throwing you back in your seat. So first things first, we'll open her up a little bit. That is 40% throttle. This is an animal I did not expect to drive. Honest to God, that is fast. This is fast, Ralphie.
Wait till you try it on Sport Plus.
Jesus. We gotta go find some bigger roads. This car, because it's an M4, people already hate the nomenclature. They don't like the fact that it's not an M3 coupe. They don't like that it's turbo. They don't like that it has the speakers piping in sound to the cabin. They don't like the exhaust note. But I'm gonna tell you, when you get in it, it's kind of a different story. And when you feel the torque that this car has, you start to forget about those little things because you lean on this car and it gives you way more than you asked for. So I think we're on Michelin Pilot Super Sports, right?
Yes.
So we got good rubber on here, nice and wide. I think we got 275s out back, which honestly, for this amount of torque, that's like, you could use more.
Yeah.
If he wants to launch it in first, he's gonna need some Mickey Thompson drag radials because this thing is gonna spin for days. I think DCT is probably improved in these cars. My car, it's a little more clunky. Ooh, R33. Hey, wow. Attaboy. Jeez, all right, Skyline just cruising by. My car, I think DCT is a little clunky. I'm pretty sure this is the same box, but I think it's got software tunes in it, and that's where you can start to make these gearboxes feel a lot smoother. So like, honestly, this car has more PDK vibes than my DCT does. This car's really smooth to drive in traffic. So you're just cruising 2,000 RPM. You start leaning into it, building that boost, and then you let off. In the M3, in the E92 M3, with the S65 V8, you've got to make sure that you are at redline all the time. There is no torque. This has twice the torque, and you notice it everywhere. Let's see what she does in third. We're gonna open it up. Sorry, I can't tell you how fast that was. That was jail speeds disguised by the magic of German engineering. I've said this before, there's two types of people in this world. People who floor it under tunnels and people who don't. All I'm feeling is torque, and I need to kind of get over that for a second. Brakes give me confidence because I'm able to go through a couple gears and not feel like I'm gonna die. I think this is a very drivable car. I think this is more of a GT car than the E92 ever was. The torque is apparent. You need to be very cautious on that throttle because if you are not, you're gonna find yourself sideways in a hurry. You said there was like a Sport Plus or...
You just hit M1?
M1. Right, I just felt a little jolt. And my heads-up display just changed, so now I've got a rev counter up here as well as my speed. I'm gonna pass an S4 here at wide open throttle in fourth gear. This climbs to triple-digit speeds very quickly and smoothly. That's really the key, is that this is a smooth car. The suspension is H&R springs. It's a little stiffer than stock, but it doesn't give you the impression that you're in this like obnoxious tuner car. It's still very streetable. In terms of steering, I'm gonna do a Matt Farah here. On center, there's a little bit of play, but once you settle it in, there's plenty of feel. I put it in this Sport Plus mode, and now the steering's a little bit heavier. It's definitely not as communicative as the E92 is, but it's not like a fail. It's not like, oh man, now I got nothing. I can tell where the car is going. I don't get the sense that I'm driving like the recirculating ball system of my E39 M5. That is a mess. This car, I point, it goes. 6th gear, are you kidding me? This guy's going for it. That is the tire limit of that truck. If you read a lot of stuff about the M4, you're not gonna fall in love with it. If you read a lot of stuff about the M4, you're gonna have complaints. You're gonna be one of those people who talks about the car as if it's, you know, it's such a disappointment, it's not a true M car. But this is some next level stuff. This is what modern cars are about right now. And yeah, they're not analog anymore, but this car still handles. So let's go back to the argument about the old 335 and the M3. The 335 guys are always gonna come out and say, I've got an N54 and I can smoke your E92 M3. And they weren't wrong. But the build quality of the 335, the suspension components of the 335, they were not up to par. The car did not handle and feel as solid as the M3. This car is like the hybrid of the E92 M3 and the E92 335. You get the tunability of the N54 with this twin turbo 3-liter 6, and you get the refinement of an M3. We just drove past a kid and he stood on his front porch staring at us, just waiting to hear this car. That's next level. I'm addicted to using the fuel, man. And then we got a little tunnel. Not a big turbo guy, but what I will tell you is torque is addicting. Especially that partial throttle when you get into it, get in a little bit of boost and then lift just a little bit, not all the way. You get like rapid fire, it's like an Uzi going off. MDM mode doing its job for sure. Again, I'm in MDM mode. I'm not trying to be a superhero here. Ralphie's a Superman, not me. So, if you're out there looking for the next depreciated tunable car and you're kind of done with these older E92 models, maybe the M4 is the way to go, because a flash and exhaust, maybe an up pipe, down pipe kind of deal, these things can make a lot of power and they can surprise you. Big thank you to Ralphie for letting me drive the M4. That thing is crazy. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive.